Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hey.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Looks like I'm alone now today. Why are you, Rudo? Why are you hiding?
Hello, buddy. How you doing? How's it, everybody? We're hustling. Momentum's in our favor. I say, I don't know, Lee's momentum in your favor. How's your setup doing?
S&P really good. Bitcoin still needs a little bit of tweak, but getting there.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Right, guys, today we're going to talk to you about that setup, probably. We're going to talk a little bit of CPI. We're going to talk a little bit of Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit of altcoins. We've got a lot we want to talk and share with you guys today. So I'm going to ask you, each and every one of you guys, to do us a quick solid. Just hit the like and the subscribe button and share the video on with a couple of friends. Let's get more people. Let's share the love. And Lee, let's get into this, my friend. Okay, CPI. Look, we were live yesterday when the CPI data came out, and I think everybody at some time or have had English is a way more complex language than what I'm used to. My mother tongue have had more time to process the data, and I want to quickly talk to you guys about where I'm at and what I see. So CPI year on year, we're looking at 9.1% actual figure now. Previous, it was around 8.6%, and the consensus was that it was going to be higher. So in essence, everybody expected the CPI to be still go higher, but nobody thought that it was going to go by this much. So that was a little bit of a surprise to everybody. Now, one thing I just want to point out to you guys, energy is still playing a really big role in the CPI figures. And one thing to take note of is that maybe food and everything locally produced, that part of the economy is probably slowed down and has cooled down and has done what it needed to do. But because we've got this runaway energy at this stage still, it is not going to be helping the CPI figures. It's not going to help let everybody feel calm or, calm the worry that's out there. Now, I just want to show something to you guys. Energy. This is one example. Oil. Let's have a look at oil. Oil in the last week, a little over a week, has basically come down with 24%. That's a big retrace, Lee.
Yep, for oil, yes.
Okay, but now the thing is with these type of retraces is oil being sold here is probably going to take some time before it actually ends up in your fuel tank and ends up where it's designated to get used. And that's something that I think that we can take in mind as to give ourselves a little bit of an edge or pre-warning. If oil keeps on this trend, the next CPI figures will probably have what we wanted to see in the first place, the inflation coming down. So that said, something to just take note while off the back of this. Yesterday we looked at this and going up to 2.5 to 2.75% interest rate was jumping from 11 to about 14 after everybody has processed the information. We're sitting at a higher probability that Jerome Powell is going to come out and say to you guys, by the 28th, when is the next meeting? I think it's the 27th of July. He's going to come through and he's going to tell you guys, listen, we're going to increase the interest rate by a full 100 basis points. That's the expectation. So which means if that day happens and he comes up and he says 0.5 or 75 or 75 basis points, all of a sudden the market's going to get a sigh of relief maybe and going to say, okay, right, the worst is over. We can start rebuilding. And that's going to be something positive. And I just want to, off the back of this, tomorrow, more bad news will probably hit our way. Expect the GDP, the periodically updated GDP figures to come through with more negative data, probably back to 2% or even minus 3% for that matter. So expect that to be there because it's off the back of everything else that's happening. Okay, so at the end of the day, I think that is the part where, Lee, you're going to say that word, those phrases, it's been priced in, maybe. You might be thinking it. I'm definitely thinking it. And it's fair for us to actually have that assumption now because we're sitting in a situation where we had really bad news yet again, but for some reason, Bitcoin decided to do the opposite. Bitcoin decided to say, I'm not dumping. I'm not losing any more support. I'm done. This is a bargain. Don't get cheap on me. And I think that is one positive sign. Every time we've had major bad news and a major drawback in something in the legacy markets, it was followed by a cascade of price within Bitcoin. And if we start looking at this, look at the initial momentum we had to the downside. Look at the next run. Look at the next run. As you can see, if we start moving this on, that we are losing speed. We are losing strength to the downside. It is slowly but surely becoming less profitable if you were shorting over here or getting out of whatever you owned. There's a lot of things. It's not just shorting, taking profit. It is getting more and more viable for you to start the dollar cost average process, which means that the end might be near. The momentum that we're talking about might be shifting. And that is some good. That's really good. Doesn't mean that it's not over. I'm just pointing it out that the momentum might be shifting. Lee, off the back of momentum, buddy, what have you prepared for us? I'm bringing up your screen.
Okay. Well, this is Bitcoin daily chart. And since this drop, the last drop that we had, if you look at this line, we are literally making higher highs and higher lows. Yesterday, even with that news, bearish news or whatever, comes back, we were still, holding this 618786. So for now, using this small portion of the chart from the 18th of June until 14th of July, we are making higher highs and higher lows. So if the momentum continue like this within this consolidation range, then we can expect, the next higher high is gonna come. We can expect Bitcoin to go over 22, over this settings, this weekly support zone. Resistance zone, and then, like I said, if you go above 22.9, for me there's nothing much that's gonna stop Bitcoin until 26 and 28K. So for now, this plan is still in play to me. If you hold those levels, making higher highs and higher lows, it's much cleaner in a line chart than if you look at Bitcoin in a candle with candles, right? Even with candles, we're making higher highs and higher lows as well. So like we said yesterday, 618786, this is the area where the bulls have to defend from the previous low to the recent high.
Yeah, we don't want to lose that gains. But now we had Gareth Soloway, and we were looking at a previous time where we had something playing out like this at around 34, where it made higher highs, higher lows, but it was still ranging within a range. Would you be blind buying if you go to the 34, where we had a similar price structure? If you just move up to the previous area, what would you be doing in comparison? Because now I think the main thing is I'm new to crypto. Do I buy now today? What do I do now? With that being said, because there we had the same thing. So we're currently in a situation that if we rally, we look at that second high attempt that failed. That is kind of what you would not want to see, because if we come back and we start engulfing that structure, we're going to have to ask ourselves, is it then time to hold and time to be smart, or time to get out before the big cascading event again? Because we know the bears jump out of the window.
Yeah, well, at that place, you can see there's higher high, higher lows, higher high. And this move here, we actually failed to make a higher high. So at that point, higher high, lower high. And then when it comes back there, lower low. So that was we had the channel as well drawn at that time. So if you start to make lower low from this pivot here, then it's already, this candle here tried to make a lower low, bounce back, we lost it right here.
What would
So
be our early warning, Lee, to try and, because it's normally hard to, it's always easy to say it afterwards, but what can we give them as an early warning?
well, the warning for now is this level here, 18.6. Right. If yesterday we have a bullish candle close, really bullish. If today's candle is gonna eat all the effort from the buyers that pull out some strength yesterday, and we close and we're going below the previous low, which is at 18.6, and you can even look at the closing of this candle. Now let's use that chart again on the line chart. Here we made higher highs, but if that push back up, we fail to make higher high, and then we start to make lower highs and lower lows. So the next level that we need to watch will definitely those pivot points at 19.3 and the closing of the candle at 19.2.
Okay. And then I've got something else that I want to just share with you guys. I'm just busy drawing it up as you are talking. That's why I might sound like I'm not interested, but it's based on the same thing. It's just another way that you can try and plan for this if you're stuck in this. So I'm nearly done. Just give me one more second. I want to show you this, Lee, as well. I'm going to bring up my screen. Something else that you guys can do. If we look at the RSI, and this is now, remember now when we look at the divergence, when we load it up, we are looking for continuation divergence for a short. And then we also would want to look for a strong divergence to break whatever is bullish momentum. And the way that we see that is going to be on a higher high in price and a lower low in the oscillator. If I go back to this Bitcoin chart, what we had over here was a hidden bearish divergence, where we had a higher high in the oscillator and a lower low in price. And at the moment with where we are, so that's the continuation divergence. So at the moment, what we have here is sitting in a situation where the oscillator is already below the price, but price is still below the high as well. So what we can do is every day or every second, it depends on what time frame you are, but for this, it's going to work on the daily. As soon as price starts moving into these ranges, getting close to this pivotal point, keep an eye on the RSI, because if the RSI has already gone by, because it's not that far away from the previous high. But if the RSI is already moving past this pivotal point, it means that we've got a good opportunity to delete it. So it's either whether it's going to be hidden or whether it's going to be strong. You're going to have to wait and see for what is happening in this area. Hidden means the bigger trend. It's going to try and continue on with the bigger trend. Strong means we might have a little retrace, and then you don't want to lose key support levels. And that's going to be the easiest way that I think for most to just have a pre-warning, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah, RSI give you a nice signal for continuation or reversal. On Bitcoin 8 hour, you have right now we speak, this hidden bull divergence on 8 hour, if I'm reading that correctly. Around this stage here, RSI or let's use this line chart today. Let's work on the line chart today. RSI at that pivot here is at level there. Okay, and then lower low, but price close with a higher low. So at hour we have a hidden bullish divergence. So if that divergence is strong enough, the price will react, which in a way they did already, 1, 2, 3 wave up. Okay, so we can dive into a smaller time frame, and let's work if there's another RSI we can pick up on the line chart 2
I mean, another divergence of sorts.
there, 2 hour, RSI at that level here, price made a lower low. So that's a strong bullish divergence.
So I want to pause it there. I just want to pause your thought quickly, guys. You see what Lee's done now? He's flipped through different time frames to look for some sort of confluence on his strategy. Now, you see a lot of people saying, well, it's on a 3 hour, it's looking this, and on a 2 hour, it's looking like something different, and so forth. So if you've got an analysis that plays with the bullish sentiment on a 2 hour, that's going to be your time frame to trade or to keep your analysis going. So when it fails on the 2 hour, you don't now go to the 5 minute, but the 5 minute still says bullish, because probably that is then going to be the higher time frame taking over. So the 2 hour is giving you a good fighting chance. But if the bigger time frame doesn't support that, no use diving to a smaller time frame. So you want to see that momentum growing from the 2 hour time frame. Okay, Lee, you've got your screen back there, buddy.
Yeah, there's always a fight between buyers and sellers. I mean, sellers must be interpreting this RSI with a price. RSI made a higher high on 4 hour charts, okay, and price did not make a higher high, and that's why at this candle close, this 2 candle close on 4 hour, then price did react down. So I don't think we're gonna go in a straight line. So there will be always a one and a bounce back and then coming down again. And at that stage, in order to fight this, 4 hour RSI, you have to dive into a smaller time frame and see if there's any other opportunity to push the price higher. For example, here, 2 hour, we have an RSI line here. Yeah, I'm just gonna use the line tool. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit more precise. Line there, horizontal line. If RSI now goes below this green line and Bitcoin is still above that, that will be a 2 hour hidden bullish divergence. So in 2 hour, we have strong bullish divergence, price goes up. And if that strong bullish divergence is strong enough to carry this momentum with a hidden bullish divergence for continuation, now price could do something like this.
And something interesting to add, guys, 2 hours closing in 3 minutes and 18 seconds. So we don't have to wait 2 hours to know whether that is locked in. So in 3 minutes and 11 seconds, let's get back to the screen and let's see what it does. Huh?
Well, you're gonna when I want the RSI going down first and price closing above. So a little bit of shakeout and price smash it down within these 3 minutes and then bounce back. That will be perfect for the RSI to react that way.
Well, so let's see. One thing that I can see at the moment, if I start diving into smaller time frames, is around that. And you said you want price to go down. There's my screen. Does that look like price wants to go up? So some good news, some hope. Let's see how it plays out. Lee, sorry, buddy. I'm going to bring back your screen there, or remove it altogether. Yeah. Let's wait and see how that plays out. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds. While we do that, I'm quickly going to turn over to the comment section and let's see where you guys at. Hit the likes. And nothing really. Morning, Rudo and Lee. It looks like the DXY is still full steam ahead and approaching next resistance, and yet Bitcoin seems to be holding 20K. We're running out of steam to the downside. Well, one thing that I did pick up, we've got still 1 minute. One thing that I'm thinking is at some stages, we always find that the correlation between legacy and crypto markets, they tend to deviate for a period of time. And this might be that, because remember, the legacy markets have got a lot of large institution support, meaning they can't just dump down, they'll close the exchange off and so forth, where crypto markets are kind of left to our own devices. It falls until it stops falling and it pumps until it stops pumping. You don't have that meddling effect in it that kind of prevents it from getting too heated in a direction. And with that being said, sometimes what we see is we get overextended. A divergence occurs between crypto markets and legacy markets, and then the correlation breaks. And that's maybe something that we need to touch on tomorrow and see whether that's really the case. because I used to do this a lot, where I actually look at what Bitcoin is doing and looking for a divergence where Bitcoin's showing more weakness or more momentum as opposed to the legacy, or vice versa. Because when we get that divergence, you know that there's going to be a correlation break for a period of time. And that's something, that's an edge, something we can use to trade to our benefit. Okay, Lee, bringing back your screen. What are we looking at? Is there a reason to get in? You muted, my friend.
I'm muted because my inverter now is shouting at me.
Oh, shouting.
with those load trading. 15-minute chart, we had a bullish divergence here. Price made a lower low, so we try to put the price up. But I think we kind of sitting around 50%, retrace on that line. So yes, we might have a reaction here to go a little bit, above those level first. But my area where I'll be really interesting to watch on this 15-minute chart will be a 618 retrace, basically from that bottom to the top. Let's say between 19,460, 61, and 19,200. So that will be the reload zone on the 15 minutes. If the bulls want to control the price action again from that level, they will wait for this. And this is just a normal reaction at 50% retrace from that move. So on a smaller time frame, I think we could have a reaction because of this 2-hour candle close. I don't know if we went below this line in RSN for the 2-hour close. We kind of touched same level. So same level means, what does it mean? It's a weak, yes, exactly. It's a weak hidden bullish divergence.
I'm going to quickly show you
yes, the momentum is here.
There's a medium or a weak. What did we get there, Lee?
Yeah, a weak because it's oscillate the same level and then price made a higher low. Okay, so a weak divergence like this, we can push back the price a little bit, but is that bearish move done? I mean, if you are really impatient, we can have a scalp from this 50% and try to go a little bit above that with this control risk. But the areas that I would trade will be basically between 19,461 and 19,200, just because this year we have a retrace on the 618 on the reload zone, and there should be a little bit of a gap within this candle here.
Okay.
So if we put this VPVR, I think it's VPR, yeah. On that move, I would think you see there's a small gap here that maybe you can use as a localization to try to target the price.
Stops around that area.
Yeah.
Okay. I see there's a question here, Lee. I'm gonna bring up my screen. 50% wick buy. Look, 50% wick buy is when we're trying to find. It's a tricky thing. It looks simple. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I tend to oversimplify this because I just select certain wicks and I draw that little fib level there and I say 50% and then there we go, boom, and it works. But the reality is that there's many wicks out there. So there's many places where you can put that 50% down. What I do actually when I look at that is I look at areas where we change the character of the market. Now we have already changed the character of the market. Therefore, that strategy cannot be used now. You might have instances where that happens and it plays out nicely and we enjoy that, but we have not changed the character of the market. So until that happens, that strategy is parked on the side and I leave it for a later stage. One thing that I want to show you guys is, oops, wrong screen. Let me just quickly bring back this screen. This screen. If I zoom out a little bit further, and daily, your price action is moving towards the downside now. So that's good. So we're going to be a little bit more patient and wait for that to play out. This was the play that I saw while we had this volatility. So I wanted to buy between these areas over here, and it did weaken to my area. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't buy there. I was greedy ass. And also, I didn't post the chart up because I was saying to everybody, wait for the dust to settle. Because at that stage, we were doing this. And I was expecting something like this in order for us to grab a nice buy somewhere in this zone. So this is one of those scenarios where you had the setup, it's laid out nicely, and you think you're gonna coin it, and then the market just goes the opposite way of what you what your sentiment and your opinion was. And that's scary, guys. I mean, I'm human. We all have opinions. It's one of those things, the hardest part of trading, to not have an opinion, you know. So that said, now going back, and I just want to state this out, this buy zone is now no longer a valid anything, because what we have is we've got a confirmation for the time frame where we are, that this is, if it comes back into that buy zone, it's trending down. You're not going anywhere other than in that direction that it's moving. So Lee's effort of where he wants to buy is very important, because it's also is going to line up with some serious support turned into resistance zones. You don't want to lose any of these levels. So going to that buy zone for me would invalidate the reason why that strategy works and the fundamentals behind that strategy. Okay, Lee, your internet is probably going to work beautifully, but it doesn't help you much if you don't have electricity today. Am I right?
Yes, the alert you were hearing was not for the trading view or was not for the microwave. It was the inverter telling me, almost run out of battery energy. I think
so. My power is going to go off in 2 hours. So
power just came back, so we safe. It just came back.
Okay, so I've got 2 hours, so we can stay on for another 2 hours before mine starts working. But okay, that's the fun of living in a country that doesn't have enough electricity for its population. All right, let's see. There was something. Could we please look at the S&P 500? Lee, everybody is itching for your S&P 500. Talk to us about that.
I've got that chart here. Basically, this is the S&P 500 paper trading chart that we are keeping, all those paper trade that we call it within this Discord group. There is a lot of trades here. Yesterday, during the show, we did have an alert. It was actually for that candle here. If you had time to execute,
can you zoom in a bit? Make it a little bit bigger. Just want to see.
Well, you remember the time, and there were an alert of in yesterday's show, and that was the alert for ask me to check if I want to short, I want to sell S&P 500, and that happened exactly at that time there. You can put South Africa time in Johannesburg. You can check. This candle was at 2:30, and the alert came at 2:30 exactly. So that was for this candle. Now, in the afternoon, evening, this one.
Yeah, if you wanted to short, did not call the setup? Is that why you've got it marked out?
Yeah, I haven't called it, and it was actually a miss because we did not take any action because we were on YouTube. So I just put a cross because it's not like a false signals or what, but it was just because we missed it.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, Lee, now. And the next time a signal like this happens, we kill the YouTube. Okay, because that was a nice short. I'm telling you now, for enemies and all, I need to go make that money, guys. I'm going to be honest with you.
And that candle happened also really, really quick. So in order for us to, send the alert and everything, tell people what we see, it's a little bit like too fast for us to react here. And then price went back up there. What is funny within this Discord group, yesterday after this candle closed, again, traders versus setup. We had buy alert here on Bitcoin, not on S&P, on Bitcoin, when we finished retracing. And I was like, it's so weird. Why the setup is giving me a long alert on Bitcoin just after the dump? I would say, I will let it settle and see what's going to happen, and so on and so on. And so I did tell those guys that I'm waiting. I'm not confident about that because of my opinion. And meanwhile, my opinion does not matter because if you have bought this here with Bitcoin, that would be a very nice trade. Then
so we both messed up with our opinions yesterday, to be honest with you.
No, but that happened a lot. Like I said, it's always a battle in your mind between what you think, your opinion, and the setups that actually you built yourself.
Somehow you still don't always trust the bloody setup.
You don't trust yourself in a way. When something happens like this, it's a little bit weird. Why? But yeah, this is TA.
That's it. Okay.
But then we had 1, 2, 3, 3 setups here, which I think 10 o'clock, I didn't take that one. I was already, load shedding again. This, I was driving, but if I apply the setup, 1 line, 2 line, that will be maybe just a stop loss, because like I said, all depends where you put your stop loss. Where you hide your stop loss behind this line. So sometimes we maybe could have, just miss the stop loss and have a winning trade. But if you have lost that one, then there will another signal here with a correct stop loss there, and that will be also a nice winning trade. This morning, I didn't see it. 5 o'clock, still sleeping at that time. And when you look back at the chart, this was the right area to call it another short. And basically, those trades were not given live on Discord because of time, and I was not in front of the chart. And right now, since this morning, we were hunting for an area to go basically long on S&P 500. So now I'm still waiting for this confirmation. I said that this level 37.42 is a good level for us to watch, but I'm still waiting for confirmation for this candle to close. And if those conditions met, all the conditions met, then we can action the buy. But for now, we are still waiting for this candle to close.
Okay, so now we have to wait. We have to wait a little bit before we can take action. Lee, I see there's a comment here. Are we in the market cycle? Do you think that we have hit depression yet, or have we? Look, we spoke about the momentum in the beginning of the stream, and we spoke about depression. We spoke about that momentum is going away. Have we hit depression? I honestly don't know. Let's be honest with this. Did anybody really know when the top is in? No. All that we did know and all that we could do is while we trade was if we lose key levels, we had stops in place to get us out. So we bought the lows effectively. And when we failed to make higher highs, we had our initial TPs and we got out and we started laddering out. As for investment areas, look, we're still in a situation where we're waiting for a relief rally even. Now, depression and all those things kind of play out long after the relief rally even comes in. Doesn't mean that the market, my opinion of what should be a relief rally is maybe this is the relief rally. That's as much as relief we're going to get. But, so it's a tricky thing. So to answer that, realistically, with giving you a black and white or yes or no answer would be very hard, because it's going to be, it's also going to be, you're going to have to take it in equation with whatever you're holding. Whatever I'm holding, I'm not close to depression just yet, but I got stuff at really good prices way, way, way back. So they're still in profit. But for somebody else, it's a completely different process. So it's a tricky one. Okay. Lee, are we going to live trade today? I want to check that with you. Are you in the mood, and do you itch a little live trade?
Yes, I was in the mood for live trade, but you just sent me a WhatsApp saying we have a meeting at 3, so it would be a little bit difficult.
That's a thing. So what do we do? Do we not have a meeting and trade live? So it's a tough decision, guys. What do you guys think should we do? Should we have the meeting or trade live? Let's quickly see in the chat. Give me a 999 if you guys are itching to live trade, and give me a 111 if you guys want us to have our meeting.
But if we do live trades, I will do it. I will definitely trade S&P 500 just because of the stats. The Bitcoin chart, statistically wise, we're losing more trade on BTC than S&P 500. S&P 500, I don't know, but you saw that there's close to 20 trade, 21, 22 trade. One loss, one we miss because of YouTube, and all the other ones so far are winning trade. So this is what I told the members as well. Why do we have to fight with Bitcoin, which is a smaller asset, more manipulation has happening, while we can trade S&P, make some dollars, and then really buy the dip when there's a dip happening, or make dollars on S&P and then come back to Bitcoin and buy your Bitcoin. So that's why I'm focusing these days on that S&P. Just because of this setup is like, I don't know, it's working almost like perfectly with S&P.
So I was reading an article this morning off the back and saying how YouTube and the way that YouTube works force content creators to almost be like and subscribe whores. And the reality is that that's what YouTube does. In order for us to have any seam of growth, there needs to be likes and subscribes, where platforms like Twitch and TikTok, for that matter, has got a more realistic growth pattern. So off the back of that little article that I wrote, I'm going to ask you guys, well, there's 235 people watching. Please give us some likes, because we've only got half of them likes. And then we'll take it from there, whether we can live trade or not, and whether we will live trade or not. So I'm holding you ransom now for a change. Lee, if we're going to live trade, it's going to be PrimeXBT, isn't it? Because that's where we get a good. So if you guys got your PrimeXBT accounts ready and funded, if you want, we can give you a link as well. We have one in the description. Just check there, click on it, takes you to PrimeXBT, and there's a little bonus for you as well that link gives you. So if you fund it, it gives you additional money that goes towards your trading fees, so you can trade and not pay any fees. That's a good deal. Ready and funded. People are ready. Let's see if the likes button goes up. Joe, let me know if the likes go up, and then we can make a call on that. Other than that, do we need to touch on alts? Anything big we want to talk about alts, seeing that we're not going to be trading any of them, Lee?
I haven't looked at alts. My setup testing phase is almost done. To me, it's done on S&P. So that's why that is the one that I'm trading right now, where I feel like 100% confident in euphoria phase. Basically, you ask me in which phase I am. Seeing those stats is really like, I don't know. I've never seen that before. So that's why, S&P 500 is the asset that I want to trade aggressively after finishing this paper trade testing. The next one will be Bitcoin. I still need a little bit more trades on Bitcoin on paper trade to see more or less what kind of stat we can use, and then after that I'm gonna move on alt. Yes.
Okay, well, I've got a few. Let's do a few minutes. Let's do a few coins. The first one I want to touch on is Cardano, obviously. Why? Because I like Cardano. At the end of the day, you can see that we're moving into, we have not made a lower low yet, still fighting that, but please go make that lower low, Cardano. So I want to see a little bit more pullback on that one. It's going to bring our highs down here. So I like that. If we can have a rally from here, somewhere that fails and goes and makes a lower low, even better, because then that will bring that line down even lower. Makes it easier for us to look at it going forward. Then there was ask about, let's quickly go through this. We had Curve. I saw Curve. Is Curve still a thing? DeFi has been punished so much. Let's quickly see what's happening on Curve. I'm going to quickly open Curve. RV. Okay, big picture. Let's hit this thing. Okay, Lee, this one is looking interesting. So what we have is higher highs, strength, but now we've got almost got a clear idea whether we should be interested in Curve or not. This should look familiar to you guys now, and so now I'm popping up trading lines like crazy. Let's just move that one in there. See, my power is dipping. See, that's crazy. My electricity seems to want to go. Curve. No higher high just yet. So what we have is we've got a bearish retrace, and you would want to see a bullish engulfing structure. So this candle or the next subsequent candle shouldn't go below this level over here, 96 cents, and should make a higher high. Otherwise, the momentum is gone, and we'll probably start visiting some of these areas over here. And for that reason, risk reward to start swinging Curve just yet is very high for me. So I wouldn't necessarily take Curve just yet. So I'm giving you reasons why not. Reasons why, well, if you look at this, there is some good momentum. And what would retail be looking at? This. So if you think about it, it's not over, because most retail is going to be drawing trend lines like that and saying to themselves, don't buy here, you're going to lose money, buy here. So in the end of the day, we can use that same game plan and see how price acts when we get there. If we get there too fast, we can probably go lower. If we take a slow, boring grind there with a nice, easy trend, we'll be able to grab it at a little price or at a better price over there. Okay, so there is curve for now, and this is on the daily. If we go on to smaller time frames, even same game plan for now. And then lastly, what a lot of people would also be using if they want a breakout trade. Remember, I showed you guys yesterday the difference between a correct way of taking a breakout versus the wrong way. So even if we go higher, I say don't FOMO in on this, because you'll probably have another stab at this range here, and then go get your breakout. Goes and gets a higher high than that one. Then it comes down, test the range, and then you go. That's the important things you need to take note. You want to still see the higher high. Otherwise, it's not a breakout. It's a fake up. Okay, so there you go with that one. Yeah, please hit likes. Hit likes. Where we at with likes? 150 likes. Guys, you want one more coin? Give me some likes. Let me be a YouTube poll for you. But we kind of need to get the word out. Come on, guys. Give me something. And while we do that, I'll be so kind as to look at DOT for you. Let's quickly have a look at DOT. Lee, what's your opinion on DOT, my friend? I'm going to open it up. Oh, this is not looking good. That's a lot of dots there. There we go. That's better. Big picture. What you seeing? Would you be buying DOT if I show you this?
Well, I've got a strategy risky one, who tells me to buy a certain level when the chart is showing like this. Will I buy it for a long-term portfolio? I will start definitely to buy a little bit, but not like I'm not gonna put 100% of my money, but yeah, a little bit using a strategy, not like just because I like it, and then wait for the confirmation and add more.
Yeah, look, DOT, I personally will not be touching just yet. Doesn't mean that it can't go up, guys. If you can find something there, go for it. What I can tell you is good sign for this. Good sign in that sense is if we were to flip to a line to just kind of see where we're at. Remember, like I said, this is the easiest way for you to kind of look at where the waves are at. Okay, so there's a wave, and there's a wave. Okay, so now why do I say that? Well, we can even look at that being a wave and that and that. So it is definitely coiling down to a point where there's very low interest in it. And it's only 50% up from where I think the original list price was on Binance. This was $3. We bought it at around $3.
No, we bought it where it was
300.
HBTC, or is that HIT BTC?
HBTC, I bought it $300. I remember that. Before they
then we move it somewhere else after the fork.
Yeah, then they inflated the supply or something like that by a factor of 100, which brought your price down to about $3. I think my price was $3. So I'm still up with DOT, funny enough. But okay, so with that being said, let's flip back to candle. So boom, 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 boom. So there's a lower wick. So I cannot. This is part of that wave. So what I would do for anybody that is in DOT, I would look at this. I would look at that range there and say, okay, right. There's the last time that we've had a high. And if I would want to see some sort of reversal, I can dive into smaller time frames to try and claim this high. You're more than welcome to do so. But for me, for a bigger time frame, for a lazy trade, I'll buy now, I sit on it for a month and then make some money, a lazy trade. I would want to see this happen first, to be honest with you. Give me that, and then I can come lazy trade. Because sometimes the most money is made with the trade that you took the least amount of effort on. And that's my 20 cents on DOT for now. Smaller time frame, let's do a 4 hour maybe for you guys. 4 hour. Sure, guys. Look, if we do this, remember I spoke to you guys about that 50% wick strategy. You go and change this for me and come back, and then I'll buy that 50% of that week. There would be a sweet spot buy at around $6.14. But it's based on the fact that this needs to go and break the trend. It's still trending down. Show me that you want to break the momentum before I can even start worrying about buying a demand zone test. Simple as that. Okay, so that's the lowdown for DOT. Let's see, what else do we have here? Anything else in the chat? Any other coin lead that you saw? I think the time's up.
Yeah.
MATIC. Any pull down? MATIC. I saw MATIC a couple of times. Let's just quickly have a look at MATIC. MATIC. Going back to the daily first. Big picture is important, guys. MATIC. Let's see here. See, MATIC made that higher high that I was speaking about on the curve one. Okay, so MATIC, but we still have not. This is the MATIC crypto cap, market cap. This is not the right one. Sorry. There we go. There's the price. So MATIC, let's quickly just delete all this. Set an alert on this line. If MATIC hits that alert, you're good to come buy it around these levels over here, 45 cents. Nothing just yet. You can try and venture a breakout trade if you want to be. You know, you look at guys will look at this and say, well, there's the breakout. But yes, wait for the higher high before you even think of looking at that. Realistically, the way that the market is arranging, there's no real momentum here at this stage. Doesn't mean that it can't come in there, but there's no real big momentum here. So I would imagine this lateral range, get above it, and then we go. You know, that's kind of the type of structure I would look for or would expect from MATIC. But yeah, that's my 20 cents on this one. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question. Well, obviously, you know the setup I'm using to call those trades, right? On the market order. Okay, I showed you. Now, if you share my chart, and if you guys, the 250 people that are watching this show are willing to follow us, so on that paper trade, so basically this is a Sol Bybit daily chart. If I'm using a specific setup on 15 minutes, and I apply the same strategy on a daily chart, and this was the results that gave me when I rewind the Sol chart on a daily. And technically, I would have probably called a short, a long, a short, a long, a short, a short, a short, a short, a short, and the last call was a long and a short here. So the stop losses is a little bit too big for the daily, but on a spot trade like this, you know, selling, buying here, selling here, selling here, buying there, selling here, that would be an amazing trade over the past few months. Okay. So it's a little bit of work to do a lot of coin like this. It's not like only drawing or putting a fib level. It's not only drawing a line and tell you guys where to buy, where to sell. Yeah, there's we have to put data in these indicators. We have to put some there's a little bit of calculation that needs to be done. So if you guys like that, like the idea, I will follow maybe one or two alts over for the next few months, and we'll have a daily update on that if I see a buy or sell signal on those specific assets. So let us know in the comment. Maybe let us know in the YouTube comment below which alts you wanna go for, which two alts we wanna follow on a daily basis on this YouTube channel, and I can build a chart like this for that specific alt. What do you think, Rudo?
I think that's something good. And where will that live? It will be in the Discord. So please, there's a pinned message. Just click on it, and even if you don't want to join or sign up with the Bybit link or whatever you want to do, there's a link there for the Discord. Just go to the Discord and you will find the information there. There's a few more coins coming through, Lee, but I think let's do it. What will the coins be though, buddy? Should we have a poll?
Yeah, let's make a poll.
Okay, we'll make a poll, send it out to you guys in the YouTube.
Look,
and
these days I'm dating S&P, so all the other coins I don't really look at them.
He's not dating. S&P is his mistress, and he's enjoying his mistress way more at the moment. That's the problem that we have.
Married to
He's
Bitcoin, but
married
now
to
I'm
Bitcoin.
dating. Married to Bitcoin, but now I'm dating S&P now.
Okay, let's quickly see. I see a few more comments. I see a comment from Joe. Joe asks this a lot. What is my profit? What is my profit? Or what is the profit? But the reality is, when I look at this, is my profit is something insane. I don't even want to talk to you guys about it. And my losses on my long-term bags is the same as everybody else's. But it's really hard to define what is your gain. I look at my stuff cyclical. So I say, well, when did I start? I was looking in the middle of the bear market or the winter, and that's where I started. And I had a little bit of money there. And now we're pretty much close to that area. And I bought a hell of a lot of toys and a lot of fun stuff, and I'm up. That is where I look at my profit. That's how I look at it. I tend to not get, and this is just me getting lazy. I'm going to be honest with you, me being lazy. Not keep score of every trade anymore and index each and every one, which is wrong. Don't do what I'm doing. Do what I say. It's one of those cases when your parents used to talk it. You say, hey, listen, this is how you're supposed to do it. And that's the reality. So in order for me to actually even remotely give you guys a percentage or anything, it's going to be irrelevant. It's going to be, and I'm not going to go and backdate everything like that. But that is the easiest way for you to actually measure your own successes. Look at when you start. 2 years from now, look at where you are. And then go and have a look at the knowledge you've acquired and then project that forward. And then you'll have a nice big picture and a good motivator behind you, knowing that you're on the right track and you should keep on doing this. And that being said, we all lose all our money in the beginning, guys. This guy did it as well. So if you're in a run where you're taking a lot of hits, we even see people join our groups. And the reality is that even the premium group doesn't guarantee whether it's going to be success, because we have opinions. We've shared this with you guys. As soon as your opinion creeps in and you don't act on the good trade, you act on the next one. And that's the failure trade. You end up just compounding your losses as well. So that doesn't even guarantee success. So there is a maturity and a time factor that comes with this, which is something that we really cannot do anything about other than to ask you to stick it out. Even if you don't want to stick it out with us, stick it out with somebody else, but just stick it out. You will get there. Okay. Lee, so you're going to go over to Discord and do that.
Run a poll.
Yeah, we're going to go over. We're going to run a poll here, and then we'll take it from there. Okay.
Well, I will vote for I will vote for Sol because it's done already.
Okay, we're gonna have Sol. So Sol's gonna be like one of the default ones, but the rest,
it's there already. The Sol chart is there already. It's just a matter of following this chart now.
I actually was reading an article this morning, Lee.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, guys, I woke up at 10. So I was up and then I went back to bed. But I was reading an article quite early this morning about the wallet adoption race and how Ethereum has basically ran away with everything, because after the big Luna crash and everything, everybody is running back to the established, OGs in the space, Ethereum. And the only one that's the exception to the rule at the moment being Solana, that has the same or even higher growth of new developers entering its space. Something. So, hey, good time to maybe look at Solana for that matter. So, Sol would definitely be one.
You think so, but I've got something that worries me a little bit with regards to Solana. But so far, nothing is proven yet. So it's just my previous bad experience with a blockchain network that wanna launch a cell phone, if you know what I mean. And from what I've heard, Solana is launching a cell phone using I don't know what kind of the thing, and sounds like another MLM to me. So I will try this one. I will never marry that.
Look, I've been reserved on Sol for a long time. You guys know where my stand is with Sol. Too fast, it won't last, and so forth. But when there's people and there's a buzz and there's work at it, it means that there might be something. And it's in a price bracket where I can almost risk the money. And Solana was near to all-time highs. It just didn't make sense. So Keep it in mind there. Yes, Lee. So let's not buy the phone this time. Let's just buy the coin. What do you think?
And sell it.
And sell it. Right. We're going to call it a day. I think that the stream has done what it's supposed to do. Right, guys, we're going to say goodbye to each and every one of you guys. Please, links in the description. Hit the like and the share button if you're new. And for everybody that's watching us after the live feed, we tend to forget about you every day, but you are just as important. And send us some comments. Tell us what you think and how you experience the stream, and see how we can better tailor it to your needs as well. Right. Let's leave it at that. Lee, buddy, see you on Discord and hopefully live trade. We will let you guys know.
Yeah.
We've only got 200 likes, apparently. 190 likes, so no live trade. It seems like that's going to be what it is. Talk to you guys later. Lee, buddy, keep hustling, my friend.
Cheers, buddy.
Keep hustling.